If you're planning to leave your house to your children when you pass away, you need to hear this. Because what so many loving parents see as the ultimate final gift can actually turn into a nightmare of taxes, family fights, and financial loss. I'm not saying you shouldn't leave your home to your kids. I'm saying the way most people do it is broken. And if you get this wrong, the IRS could take a slice, the nursing home could take a slice, and your kids could end up with nothing but stress and a stack of legal bills. But here's the good news. There's a better way to do this. A way that protects your legacy, keeps the family peace, and saves your children thousands upon thousands of dollars. And by the time you finish watching this video, you'll know exactly what that way is and why so many well-meaning parents get it completely wrong. So why does this happen? Why does a simple, generous act like leaving a house to your kids turn into such a mess? The root of the problem is something most people never think about. When you leave a house to someone through a will, they don't just get the house. They also inherit your tax basis. Let me explain that in plain English because this one concept could cost your kids a fortune. Let's say you bought your home 30 years ago for $100,000. Today, that same home is worth $500,000. You've paid off the mortgage, you've taken great care of the place, and you feel proud knowing you're passing down something of real value. Now, if your child inherits that house through your will, their tax basis is not the $500,000 it's worth today. Their basis is what you paid for it. That's the $100,000. Why does that matter? Because when they go to sell the house, which many kids do because they already have their own homes or they need to split the asset with siblings, they'll owe capital gains tax on the difference between the sale price and that old basis. So if they sell for $500,000, they could be looking at a taxable gain of $400,000. At today's capital gains rates, that's a tax bill that could easily reach $60,000, $70,000, even $80,000, money that you worked your entire life to build, handed right over to the IRS. And the real tragedy is, this is entirely avoidable. Now let's add another layer to this. Capital gains taxes are just the tip of the iceberg. There's another threat on the horizon that's far more personal and far more painful. Family conflict. You might think your kids would never fight over your home. And maybe you're right. But I've seen it happen too many times. When a house is left to multiple children in a will, they all become equal owners. Every decision about that house now requires unanimous agreement. Should we sell now or wait for the market to improve? Should we rent it out? Who's going to pay for the new roof? Who's going to handle the lawn care while it's on the market? One sibling might be sentimental and want to keep the house forever. Another might desperately need the cash right now. A third might live out of state and just want the whole thing to go away. Suddenly, a gift meant to bring security becomes the thing that drives a wedge between your children. I've watched siblings stop speaking to each other over smaller things than this. And that is not the legacy you worked a lifetime to leave. But wait, it gets even more complicated if you don't have a proper estate plan in place. Many seniors assume their house will simply pass to their kids and that's the end of it. What they don't realize is that without the right legal setup, that house could go through probate. Probate is a court-supervised process that can take months or even years. During that time, your kids may not be able to sell the house, access its value, or even enter the property without court approval. And probate is public. Anyone can see what you owned and who you left it to. That's not just an invasion of privacy, It's an open invitation for predators, scammers, and distant relatives to come out of the woodwork. On top of that, probate costs money. Attorney fees, court fees, executor fees, all of those come out of your estate, which means less for your kids. Now let's talk about something that keeps a lot of seniors up at night: long-term care. What happens if you need to go into a nursing home or require extended medical care? The cost of long-term care in this country is staggering. It can drain a lifetime of savings in a matter of months. And here's what most people don't know. If you need Medicaid to help cover those costs, the government will look at your assets. If you own your home outright and haven't protected it properly, that house could be subject to estate recovery after you pass away. In simple terms, the state could place a lien on your home and take back what they spent on your care. You may have wanted that house to go to your kids, but instead, it goes to the government. That is a hard truth, but it's one you need to face now, before it's too late. So how do you avoid all of this? How do you leave your house to your kids without handing a giant check to the IRS, without tearing your family apart, and without exposing your legacy to the long reach of the government? The answer lies in how you hold the title to your home. And there are several ways to do this right. One option that many families consider is the enhanced life estate deed, also known as a Lady Bird deed in some states. This allows you to keep full control of your home while you're alive, including the right to sell it or mortgage it. But upon your passing, the house transfers directly to your children without going through probate. And because they inherit it this way, they also get something incredibly valuable, a step up in basis. Instead of inheriting your old purchase price as their tax basis, their basis becomes the fair market value of the home on the date of your passing. That means if the house is worth $500,000 when you die, their basis is $500,000. If they turn around and sell it for that same amount, their capital gain is zero. No tax bill, no IRS headache. This alone can save your children tens of thousands of dollars. Another powerful tool is the living trust. A revocable living trust is like a container that holds your assets, including your home. You can serve as the trustee while you're alive and in good health, maintaining full control over everything. You can live in the house, sell it, refinance it, do whatever you want. But when you pass away, the successor trustee you've named simply steps in and distributes the assets according to your instructions. No probate, no court, no public records. And because the trust is revocable, you can change it at any time if your circumstances or wishes change. A trust also provides clear, legally binding instructions for what happens to the house, which can prevent those bitter family disputes I mentioned earlier. If you want the house sold and the proceeds split equally, the trust says so. If you want one child to have the option to buy out the others at a set price, the trust says so. You are in control even after you're gone. Now, what about protecting the house from long-term care costs? That's a more complex issue and one that absolutely requires guidance from an experienced elder law attorney. But there are strategies. Some involve transferring the home into an irrevocable trust, which, unlike a revocable trust, means you give up some control in exchange for asset protection. There are strict look-back periods and rules you need to follow. The point is, you have options. But those options disappear if you wait too long. The worst thing you can do is nothing. Simply having a will that says, I leave my house to my kids, might feel like you've checked the box. But as you now know, it can be the most expensive and emotionally draining path of all. Let me share a real example that I've seen play out more times than I can count. A woman named Margaret owned a beautiful home she and her late husband had bought in the early 1980s. She had a simple will leaving everything to her 3 children. When Margaret passed, the house was worth about $600,000. The kids was stunned to learn they owed capital gains tax on nearly the entire value because their parents had bought it for so little. On top of that, the 3 of them could not agree on what to do. The oldest son wanted to keep the house as a family gathering place. The middle daughter needed money for her own retirement. The youngest son lived across the country and just wanted his share. The house sat vacant for over a year while legal fees piled up. The relationship between the siblings fractured. By the time the dust settled, they had lost a significant portion of the home's value to taxes, legal costs, and a forced sale at a less than ideal time. Margaret's gift of love became a source of pain. And it didn't have to be that way. A simple conversation and the right estate planning tool could have saved that family so much heartache. So here is what you need to take away from all of this. Leaving your house to your kids is a wonderful thing to do, but how you do it makes all the difference. Do not just assume a will is enough. Do not assume your kids will figure it out. Do not put this off because you think estate planning is only for the ultra-wealthy. It's for anyone who owns a home and loves their family. Sit down with a qualified estate planning or elder law attorney in your state. Ask them specifically about the step-up in basis. Ask them about avoiding probate. Ask them about protecting your home from long-term care costs. Ask them whether a ladybird deed, a living trust, or another tool makes the most sense for your unique family situation. The money you spend on that consultation and the proper paperwork is nothing compared to what your kids could lose without it. You have worked too hard and sacrificed too much to see your legacy get eaten up by taxes, courts, and conflict. This is something you can fix, and you can fix it now, while you're still in control. If you found this information helpful, please take a second to like this video. It really does help more seniors just like you find this content. And if you want to stay informed on the financial and legal issues that matter most in your golden years, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. I'd also love to hear from you in the comments. Have you had an experience with a family home and estate planning gone wrong? Or do you have questions about your own situation? Drop a comment below. I read as many as I can. And your story might just help someone else avoid a painful mistake. Thank you for watching. Take care, and God bless.